Welcome back to the Ascendant Lands. Last time we left off, you had managed to find out what the hourglass was, managed to negotiate a way to get to Mystra City quickly rather than the normal methods, and now it is and manage yourself to have a relatively peaceful long rest, with some stable hands booking over some scritches, which over pleasantly obliged. So it is the morning of. You guys are basically having breakfast in the inn. My naming hasn't let me down. The Broken Katana, I want to say.
Yeah, I think it was
That sounds
Broken
familiar.
Yeah.
Broken
My
Katana.
memory
Yep,
isn't perfect, but that sounds familiar.
yeah, it's Broken Katana. The food isn't great. It's better than nothing.
Better than
Coffee's
Talari's cooking, that's for sure.
It has some flavor. It's even if it's not necessarily the flavor you expected.
not salty, but
Yeah.
It's not saltier than normal, but that's fine. But yes. So as you're having breakfast and deciding how the many different ways you wanted to carve up Elenil for stitching you up in Oscar Ublex's Zone Eternal for tests, trials, and tribunals. And then Seb, the bastion of peace, comes in with a female dragonborn. Seb still in their half-orc get-up they were in before, feeling as they were yesterday, it must seem. Welcome, Justice Collective, one and all. Welcome. Hope your breakfast is sound and wonderful.
I'd be concerned if my food is making a sound.
is that the thing? Should we be worried about speaking food?
I don't know, maybe that's a normal thing here if
It's a figure of speech.
Sound just means wholesome.
Oh,
oh.
If they make a sound, you're with the wrong mimics.
Stone faced.
This is my friend that we were talking about last night, Thoradin. This is Holu. The Holu is a blue dragonborn, female, quite tall, easily shoulder to shoulder with Seb in their current form. They have a lute strapped to their back and just a sorted accoutrement of weapons of the sorts. While they are a bard, they are certainly well armed and the same hand, or within the same breath. They all give you a fairly nervous smile and just nod to each of all of you fairly quietly. Morning. I'm Harlow. Yes. I believe you. Seb has asked me to teleport you to Mystra City. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, please.
Good. So, are you happy to discuss business here, or do you want to just talk someplace else?
Might as well.
we feel like, I don't know, is this a Talari room situation, or do we feel comfortable, everybody?
I mean, haven't you discussed all the rest of your business in this inn?
I mean,
Yeah, it's Talari's
Looking
room.
at Thoradin.
For old time's sake.
Well, we do quiet
time's
corners,
sake.
you know.
Okay, how about Talari's room, as Krusk said, for old time's sake? I like that, it's nice.
Is it always Talari's?
I
It's
don't know.
become the rule.
I don't
It's
really.
traditional now. You
Yes.
Tradition.
started a bad precedent, Talari.
Yes,
She's
I know.
probably got the nicest looking room. Like,
Oh yeah, pristine.
she's hygienic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Keeps things
Yeah.
in check.
Yeah. why she doesn't. One of the other
Random
many
throwing
reasons she
clothes
doesn't.
all over the floor.
Yeah, she doesn't. One of many reasons she doesn't like other people just sharing room with her because they'll just make a mess.
It's not meant to go there.
No, no, it's here.
Certainly. So, Holu and Seb will allow you all to finish eating your breakfast. They'll grab a small plate or two for themselves while you're finishing off. And you all go up the stairs into Talari's room, where there is ample seating for everyone, magically so, to just chill and
Do
get
more
down to
chairs just
business.
magically pop into existence as we walk through the door?
Yes, as each of you, as every person walks in, another chair seems to be added to the table.
Awesome.
City get his own chair.
I'm not going
No.
to sit down, so you go ahead.
When Over and City enter, another chair is not present.
Okay.
Get a
So
little
you can
basket.
have my
you know.
chair. I really don't care at this
All right,
point.
I'll take the chair for City. I'll
Okay,
put it next to me.
you go ahead. I'm not going to sit
You
down.
sure? You sure, Terry?
I'm not comfortable with something popping out of no existence and being something that I perch my tushes on.
That's understandable. I'll put City on the chair.
If City will trust the chair, then it's probably fairly trustworthy. City is a very experienced cat.
He's a very experienced cat.
Yes, indeed. Yeah.
That's an entirely IC remark.
I-
Yeah,
Yes.
Catman can do whatever the cat wants to do. And
Yes.
done
The
with
question.
that
Terry
line of
doesn't.
questioning
Terry
for now.
doesn't trust the managing chairs. What I want to know is that if someone sat on my chair and I leave the room, will they be dumped on their behind?
Must be like a. I don't know. That'd be funny, wouldn't it? Terry just leaves the room and sooty falls on the floor.
Yeah, and I fall over. I think we're getting sidetracked.
That's to quits probably for a chair disappearing. He just lands on his feet, whereas we'd all just stack it.
Experienced cat and everything.
Well,
Cat knows many things. So once you're all seated comfortably, Hollow and Zeb will greet you all again. And thank you all for thank you all for being here today. It's a pleasurable day, and it's a great day to be, is it not? Yes, about business, of course. So it is. You're traveling to Mystra City, yes.
Yep.
There is a few options available to us. The first of which is standard teleportation, which Holu you are capable of doing. Holu nods. Still a bit gingerly, not quite as willing to express themselves. Just letting Seb just to take control of proceedings, really. Seb carries on. There is also I believe you travel by horse and cart. Is that also the case?
Nod,
Yes.
nod, nod.
Yes. Okay. How many are there? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The horse, 9 Holu. I'm not sure. Teleportation can take a cart. There's a pickle. Does anyone know the spell Enlarge Reduce, perhaps? Anybody?
shake head.
No, that's a shame.
Do
It
we
would
look
help
like a bunch of
cart.
wizards?
If we were a bunch of wizards, we wouldn't need somebody else to teleport us.
Well, true. Well, it's just a thought.
It's worth asking. You'd look like a right fool if it turned out somebody could do that.
Yes. I believe 2 castings of the reduced section should transform the cart small enough for someone to carry to then be teleported with you. But alas,
Use
doesn't seem the
a
case.
wheelbarrow.
Well, precisely. So the other alternative is a teleportation circle. Holly, do you have any? What teleportation circles are available to you in Mystra City? nervously. Hollow just counts thoughtfully in their head. Well, it's the bank, but that cart is going to make a lot of space. There's
It might get stuck on the door.
I can reduce the cart once, in theory, but not the second time.
How
There's
long does that last? How small does it become?
it's if it was a quite huge cart, it could become quite a large cart. And if a second time it would quite a large cart, it would be a fairly medium cart. And so on and so on.
Don't
But
think
there,
that answered my question.
they're. I'm not sure they're gonna like this, but could do. I'm sorry, Seb. But I'm afraid it might have to cost more. They're likely charges for using it. Seb will look at all of you, looking at Thoradin especially, and and pull
Depends
a.
what it is, doesn't it?
Look at Thoradin. What's Thoradin's expression on that?
He's kind of shaking his head a bit, not looking too good.
So what they're likely alluding to is the Thieves Cult. Is what they're likely alluding to from your experience, and especially for charging of wares. That's potentially what they could be alluding to to your knowledge.
Wait, what do you mean they're alluding to the Thieves Cult? Thieves Guild?
So famous for smuggling things, especially in a magical city. They may or may not have the potential to have a teleportation circle within their own space to smuggle
Okay.
items to and from against, especially in such a magical city. It's
Well,
not everywhere. It's not like everywhere would have one, but it's
do I know that Mystra City definitely has one, or
that's what they're alluding to. It's you didn't go in. You didn't enter Mystra City. Only Talari did, and I doubt she was looking for homeless people on a mission.
If I remember correctly, she was very kind of focused on the task
Very-
at hand.
very direct to the task at hand. Yes.
Yeah.
It's very likely that there is. If they're alluding to it, then that's where your mind goes to.
well, yeah, Thoradin will say, can we not use the Thieves Guild if they have a presence there? They have a circle.
They're fairly surprised whether you're willing to say it outright. Yeah. Yes, we could. It's fine. As my gift to you, Thoradin, I will pay. My gift between.
That's a mighty favor, Seb. Are you sure?
It's fine. It's you reap what you sow. And winks
Well,
again at you.
We certainly owe you a favor, Seb.
I don't know if that's the right. And your contact, your deal.
Yeah, we owe him. He's doing us a favor.
Why is he? Who's
Unless
this
you
guy?
guys-
Why is he being so nice? Is it suspicious? Suspiciously nice? Or
Has he done this before?
This is Thoradin's contact. Thoradin's
I
past,
don't know.
whatever.
someone's willing to
Has,
help Thoradin so much?
has Seb ever done this before? When I've worked with him in the past.
It's a very friendly person.
Yeah.
They
He's just a nice guy.
like the part of like you've always had a good rapport with them. I've always treated them with respect and it's especially considering they're a changeling, it's can be quite difficult to get the respect that they want. So the fact that you so willingly give them the respect that they need, has left them a good impression on them.
Thoradin doesn't
Yeah.
judge.
No.
Or never judges.
If you do your job well, this will come. All good. How much is he paying? Like, obviously they haven't said, but if I could tally off in my head.
If you guesstimate, it's around the 500 gold mark. You would guess for these kind of services.
Okay.
Maybe
Generous.
a bit extra because of the tariff the Thieves Cult could make on it.
Okay.
Maybe
look,
up to 700, 800 gold at max, probably.
There's no like. Watch out, bro. If we're going to use this thieves guild, there's no hidden cost to our belongings, is there?
I'll go with you. Hollow and I will stay behind to haggle with the Thieves Cult.
Okay.
We'll get
But-
there. We'll get out. We'll get you guys out, and we'll discuss on the back end.
This won't become no disrespect to any thieves, but I don't think it would be good for the JC's image if people knew that we were enlisting their services. Is this kind of like a discreet service, or
Well, it's not necessarily
not that I judge thieves? Of
using
course.
their.
I'm just worried
their
other people might.
services,
Okay, that's good.
Oh, I get it, Krusk. We're all for justice, and you're talking about using criminals to get in. I think probably the greater evil is the thing to think about here. If anyone were to bring it up, like
Didn't-
the god of death killing everyone.
Didn't you
That's
also?
true, yeah.
Thieves used to travel with the thief. They.
Oh yeah, that fucking guy.
I heard they did great. They're doing great things in Lyra Heights. No.
They were summoned
No, really.
most unwillingly, from what I heard.
Yes, well, he is not currently with the JC.
Also, he tried to kill me, so
Well,
fuck that guy.
Turi doesn't like him very much.
He's probably one of the greatest guys I've ever met, to be honest. I don't know.
Still fuck that guy.
Thoradin does like him.
Listen, I've got a history. I've got a fairly okay standing with the Thieves Guild. Mention my name, I'm sure.
In a personal capacity, of
well.
course. Not representative of the views of the JC.
Oh, listen, they pay me gold. I'll do a job.
Russ has morals. Thoradin is a mercenary.
I'm a hard worker.
aren't we all?
Sorry, Krusk, and Nadia reaches over and pats him on the shoulder.
Just like size. Greater evil. Greater evil.
Greater evil.
The rest of us fail to live up to your standard.
Let's focus on greater evil, Krusk. Greater evil.
Yeah.
Okay. So I, Seb, will contact the Thieves Cult in Mystra City just to make sure they're aware of us coming. It's from what I remember, going through a teleportation circle, you have to get through quite quickly. So it's a bit of a we can't, especially if we're going to try and get the cart through. You're basically going to have to do a
I don't want
running
anybody
start
in the way.
and make sure that the right doors are open to make sure that otherwise it could hurt some people on the other end.
Yeah,
But,
don't do that.
So yeah, I'll contact Thieves Cult. They'll be fine. Be fine. We'll sort it out in the back end. And then so we'll give you an hour to get prepared. Paul and I will meet you outside the north gates, and we'll get this show on the road, shall we?
Where currently are we? We're by the North Gate.
You're by the north gate. Well, yeah,
The inn
you're in the
on
inn.
the north gate.
You're the north. You're the north inn.
I just went and looked at Roll20 and saw that our things were actually in the right place on the map. So that's just me being daft.
So Hollow and Seb depart you and give you all a good handshake if you're willing to accept a handshake to good business. And they will leave and they'll meet you in an hour. Is there anything you would like to do? Final preparations in Mystra City before you travel in Merkle Village before you traveled to Mystra City.
Seems
As they.
fast.
Oh.
Krusk,
carry
it's okay. Don't worry about the Thieves Guild. We'll write up some flyers, tell them about how you should pray to Bahamut, redeem your ways. We'll just put all out there, and they can have the choice of redeeming themselves.
That's an excellent idea, Terry.
Okay, so we can start writing those up straight away and let the others prepare if they want to prepare.
Yeah, Gus will start working on some flyers.
Oh my
Stand
god.
up.
The suspiciously generous gift, Thoradin. What have you done for this guy in the past?
Like I say, I'm a nice guy. I'm a courteous guy. If someone's
You're a
give me
well-known man.
good info, good business, I'll reward them.
Yeah, fair enough.
We've always had a good relationship. This is well, it's not something that he's necessarily done before, but we've also, had quite a long-lasting good relationship as friends. So I think it's
I'm a little bit
I
concerned about this favor. Owing people favors is never ends well.
well, with Seb, it's not going to be. He wants us to kill so and so, and it will be a fine favor. If anything, I'll take up the favor if it's going to cause a problem.
Well, do you think the favor is going to be something
Yeah.
along the lines of, could you get information about this, or
Yeah.
hey, I got a deal going and I need this buyer to be out of the picture?
It's going to be more information. Seb's a man of information. He's not a killer at heart, so
I see. Knowledge is power, as they say.
yeah.
Yeah, if you trust him, Thoradin, we're gonna have to go with it, I suppose.
I trust him. I trust the Thieves Guild as well. So
That one.
I've had a good
If
history
they
with them.
stand by their own, just because they're not your people doesn't mean they're not good to their own people.
Yes, but
God.
I'm not their people, and we're about to walk into one of their places, and there was a whole hit thing. I mean, granted, at the time, Guile had fairly good reason, but still, whole shebang of someone putting a hit out on me. It's something I'm
It
not
makes you
comfortable with.
paranoid.
Funnily enough,
That's
yes.
It'd make me paranoid.
Did you kill one of their people?
No.
That will be okay. You stepped that line, you're gone. Maybe they can forget about that past. About putting it out. We've
Depends how
changed,
much
haven't
they've
we?
been paid, doesn't it?
Fury is now
Yeah.
trolling through her entire memory. Have I had to assassinate a Thieves Guild members?
Yeah.
Would they
Has
be
it
able to
happened?
pin it on me if I had?
Yeah.
That's the more important
The
question, I
age-old
think.
problem
Yeah.
with the assassin.
Yeah.
A, did I do the murder? B, did I get caught?
God, she's killed so many people. I want to say
I'm
no,
just
but
scrolling down the list to the
Yeah.
end.
Yeah. It's a long list.
Like the
It's a
dream
long
journal,
list.
but for a killing journal.
Yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
Featuring
Fucking
it.
dream journal.
Well, that's a D100 right there. Have I killed a Thieves Cult member?
Trying to think if there's anything else. Anything else we would need to buy in preparation for this? I mean, I feel like we're going to a magical place. Maybe some kind of, I don't know, defense against magic, but then that's really vague.
That is really
And
vague.
expensive.
That's going to be very expensive
Yeah,
as
I
well.
think we're just gonna have to go.
Like, I
Well,
don't.
you're assuming that the magic is against you.
Yeah.
I mean,
We're being paranoid. We
Yeah.
fucked up literally everything else we've tried to do,
What is
Matt.
it-
I think we're just
Yeah.
trying not to fuck this one up as well.
because the only thing that's coming into my mind is like anti-magic shackles, but I don't know how easy that's going to come by. I don't know how.
Really difficult. I'll be willing to bet you any odds.
Yeah, because that seems like something that's like specifically for law enforcement. Like it's not publicly, I mean,
I
we've got the
wouldn't
Thieves Guild. I suppose.
I wasn't pleased that the intuition that, or the what's the word? The that you were implying the implication of anti-magicking other mages.
Oh yeah,
No.
yeah. Because
That's
we asked him for
to
some, didn't we? Yeah.
do.
I think Krusk asked and he got kind of annoyed with
Yeah.
Krusk.
He got
The
kind of offended, yeah.
Yeah.
the statement of facts, as they are, as you know, Mistress, you have a contract with Mystra City to deliver them a medallion.
Yeah.
The other medallion you picked up along the way that you agreed that you would pick up, but you have no direct contract for that second medallion.
Mm.
Do you know that Eleanor and Aloysius and another priest have gone to Mystra City and have had discussions with the priests after some stonewalling? To what extent you don't know. For all you know, that you have there's nothing. Oh, and you also had someone asking for Krusk and the Justice Collective in Mystra City when you were last there.
Oh yeah, that we thought was dodgy and wanted to kill him.
Yes.
It's confirmed he was a
Yeah.
hitman, wasn't he? I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Gentleman.
Thoradin knows him.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's a nice guy. We can talk to him.
We should probably
Don't
avoid.
necessarily stop him trying to kill you.
But it's
Just gonna flag
yeah, John the contract maker. But it has been 18 days. You don't know,
that. So he's
John.
off to look for you elsewhere.
Exactly, John could have gone somewhere else. You don't know.
With any luck, he's on the road to Merkel Village and we'll.
Well, they probably figured that, considering how loud Krusk is, for him going to go quiet for 18 days, he's probably dead.
Maybe.
You know?
Death.
Can I ask something about the 18 days? I forgot to ask this before.
Yeah.
With the Horn of Valhalla, is that now on cooldown? Oh, is that now off? Because it wasn't 18 days for us, because it was like.
So
lot
it's
quicker.
as you haven't experienced those 18 days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it doesn't count.
You've got
But
to take
it
the
was-
horn through 10 days of
But I
linear
have-
time.
But
time
it has,
travel.
but it has been
think-
it has passed it though, because you used it on the way to Mystra
Necromancer.
City.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
It's a while ago.
And it's been longer than those 10 days before anyway. I think
Okay.
because by the time you got to Mystra City, sorry, Merkel Village, the charges had reset.
Okay,
Yeah.
nice.
So
Just wanted to double check.
We've got our
that had
Spectral
reset.
Warriors back.
Nice.
Yeah, I remember us discussing that had reset beforehand.
Cool.
One thing probably worth with the discussion is our employers probably shouldn't be told that we have both, 2 medallions. I mean, there's a good chance that they've been told, but they only believe we have one.
No, they were looking forward to you having the last two.
Oh,
Yeah,
did
that's
they?
it.
Okay, so they
The
do know.
Helm guys told them
Did
we
they?
had
Oh,
both.
okay.
Yep.
Fine. Okay, I thought they.
Would be my
Yep.
guess anyway.
They were excited for the Just Collected to arrive with the last two.
Right, gotcha. Right, okay.
No,
Never
they
mind.
already know that.
Right, never mind. Ignore that then. God, I feel like there's something that we should be preparing for, but I don't know what. Obviously, that's
You're just
part of
gonna
it.
have to jump in with both feet.
We've done that this entire campaign, and it hasn't ended well for us.
Well, we're still here.
Yeah,
Just
survived.
We've
Just-
tied up all our quests in one way or another. Yeah, but I don't see how we can prepare. The trouble is we don't know what we're walking into, and so
Yeah.
you can't prepare for an unknown.
Yeah, I
We've only
know.
got an hour as well.
Yeah, we've only got an
Yeah.
hour, it's not much.
Literally, the only thing you could do is like pop to the market or something, but I don't think we have enough
Nadia's
funds.
gonna go and harness up the horse,
Yeah.
and she's keeping an eye out to see if she can get. Oh, Arthur's just wandered off as I say this. I have to wait for him to come back to see if she can spot Turi when Turi is not with the rest of the group, so that she can like nab her for something.
Okay.
But Arthur's
Okay.
fucked off, so I can't ask him whether that's
Then-
gonna happen.
Do we have potions? We were good on potions.
Lots of potions.
I'm pretty sure Talari dished some
Where's
out
my backpack?
to you all
Inventory.
a while
I
ago.
have some potions. Potion
Uh,
of healing. 3. Yes, I have lots of potions.
Yeah.
I've been playing lots of Pokemon recently, so I feel like I would have an antidote and a paralyzed heal and stuff. and
Always.
as well.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, So Nadia's keeping an eye out for Tiri to have a side chat. Does anyone else want to do anything else before?
See, Turi and Krusk are making flyers. I've been talking with
That's
Arthur
the
about some of the
thing.
flyers, so
That's
Okay.
the thing. So I don't know whether I will manage to like nab Turi.
knock on the door and be like, "Can I borrow Turi?"
Yeah.
When Arthur's back.
Yeah, here's Arthur.
Ooh. It was all pinning on you, mate.
Nadia is keeping an eye out. We can't hear you.
Good.
Nadia's keeping an eye out for Turi to see if she can like pull Turi aside for 5 minutes during like the hour where we're all around with. But is Turi too busy making flyers to keep Krusk happy?
Well, I think Turi and Krusk are like, I can picture them like over a table, frantically writing down ideas and then throwing them to the side and trying something else.
If you want to get
Um,
Turi, feel free to come in and just be like, "Hey, can I borrow Turi?"
Yeah, no, Krusk,
might-
that's really good. I like that one. Yeah, yeah, with the pointing finger, that's good.
She might do, in fact.
Do you think it's some cat drawing on? Do you think that people will respond to that?
No, I don't think the cat's necessary.
I'll
Just
add it. I'll add it just in case.
in the background. In the background.
Okay.
Yeah, Nadia will go, probably harness up the horse, and then be like, I've still got at least 20 minutes and come back. Like, look in, and then be like, Turi,
Yeah.
what did I do yesterday?
Okay.
That had you giving me the look.
Ah. Right. Yes. Okay. So.
She says this like leaning around the door frame.
Should we just? Let's just. Excuse me, Krusk. And she's gonna.
Turi, how do you spell Bahamut?
What do you? Are you telling me you don't know how to spell Bahamut?
Yes, grown down gods.
Krusk, we're following Bahamut. Are you telling me you can't spell Bahamut?
Literacy
It's not a
is
prerequisite
not a
of belief.
prerequisite for faith.
It's not a D in there, is there?
No.
No.
How would you
Might
even
have to
have
do some of these first.
There isn't a draconic version of the spelling.
Just okay. Just 1 second, Nadia, and then I just spell it out in really big common writing.
Chris is
And
like,
then I go, okay,
torch some of the flyers and start again.
we're gonna talk about this later, okay?
I know how to spell Bahamut in 2 languages.
I know how to spell it in 3. Sorry. Okay. Shuffles to the door with Nadia and just comes around the corner. Okay. So probably a slight misunderstanding, but I have to think of all the options. I have to plan ahead. I am, after all, someone who usually deals with particularly dangerous things and wants everything to go to plan. So, when I see your anger take the better of you when we're no longer fighting something, when I see your rage fuel you in a direction.
Yes, but what did I do?
Okay, so we destroyed the giant cube thing. We got teleported back to the church.
Yeah.
You stormed off with your axe in hand, ready to flail it about, or at least it looked like you were ready to flail it about, into a horde of civilians.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a little bit risky.
But all I did was shout at people.
Yes, all you did shout at people.
Oh my god. Okay. Cherry, don't scare me like that.
I'm saying, it fills me with concern, okay?
Okay. Okay. That's fine. She genuinely looks incredibly relieved. She was getting tenser and tenser as Terry was going, and then this happened, and then this happened. She's just gone, oh. Okay.
Just, all I'm saying is You know, maybe after the fight, if you're feeling angry, we take a little 10-second breather, meditate a little, put the axe down, then we storm off in whatever direction we fancy.
Any attempt to do that has yet to work.
I'm just trying to be supportive. I have absolutely no idea what I'm saying. I don't think I've actually properly
you think-
meditated in a very long time.
If you don't you meditate every night?
That's trancing. It's slightly
no,
different.
Okay, it's different. Okay. If you think I'm going to be a danger to somebody else, fucking knock me on my ass.
I'm not very good at that, but I'll talk to Thoradin.
Get Thoradin to knock me on my ass. Or Krusk. He wears enough. Actually, no, he's quite skinny under that plate mail. I was going to say he wears enough plate mail that I couldn't put a dent in him if I tried.
Oh yeah, he's he's losing a lot of weight. I think you're
If
right.
if I put a dent in the right place, I could probably put a fairly severe dent in him. So maybe not Krusk. Get somebody to knock me on my ass, because asking me nicely to please calm down just isn't going to work.
Okay, noted. Got it in the brain tank.
Good.
But yeah, it's only because it's the first time I've seen you very angry, and we're no longer fighting.
Yep. That makes sense. That makes sense. I'm used to being given that look for far worse things that I don't remember. So it's all good.
Don't worry, I'll keep an eye on you.
Good. Because usually the cure for me doing something nobody wants me to continue doing is to get my brother to shout at me, but he's not here.
Okay.
Admittedly, usually the things that triggers me going off in a blind rage is somebody trying to harm him, so he's not here. You know, it works in the other direction as well.
Balances out. That's good. Good.
But yeah.
Yeah, well,
But that's okay. That's
yeah.
fine.
Don't worry about it. Okay.
Fine.
I'll get Thoradin to knock you on your ass. And maybe try shouting at you a little.
Yeah, that'll probably work. Just tell me that I'm not fit to be a person at the moment, and just shut up and sit down until my brains come back online. You won't be the first, or certainly
Noted.
you won't be the last.
Is it in that order? Do I have to say that you're not a person and your brains aren't working?
Possessed.
Possessed. Got it. Okay.
I have a battle spirit, and she taps the scar that runs down her face. Every so often, it jumps out, and if it thinks I'm gonna die, it turns up and tries to get rid of whatever's trying to kill me by hitting it as hard as possible. Basically, I don't have any control over it. It just turns up.
I feel like I would have noticed that before, but it does make a lot of sense. Battle spirit, right?
It's not always like completely Nadia is gone, something else is working.
But sometimes.
Somebody nearly succeeded in killing me.
Okay.
And technically
Noted.
want me to die.
Right. Going to need a signal for Thoradin.
And look, if Thoradin doesn't notice, you probably have a bigger problem.
He gets pretty enraged as well, so
Oh, that's true.
just point you at each other when you're super, super angry.
Yeah. Clash.
It might work.
It might work. He's fairly he can stand up fairly well to my bullshit. It's alright. But if you point me at an enemy, that's also perfectly fine. I'll go after whatever I can consider is a threat. The trouble is it's not very good at working out what's actually a fucking threat.
Yeah, we'll start with enemies and then we'll move on to Thoradin when there's no enemies left. Maybe if it gets to that stage.
But it doesn't last long.
Okay, don't worry. I'll keep an eye.
But if all I did was shout at people, I don't have anything to worry about, so that's all good. And she's gonna reach out to pat Tiri on the shoulder. Remember that Tiri doesn't like being patted on the shoulder. Awkwardly retract her hand again. And then, like, and then fuck her off.
So Turi goes, sort of stands there for a minute, just like calculating and taking it in, and she slowly walks back into the room with Krusk and just goes, right, how in the name of F do you not know how to understand this? This is ridiculous. Can you actually spell? And that just it becomes a whole thing.
Cool. Does Krusk have a rebuttal?
It's just like, hey man, you don't need to be able to spell it to believe in it.
Don't say that. Like, do you have trouble spelling generally? Like, it's even sounded out. It's Bahamut. Like, how do you not?
Conversation just leads into like phonetics and like how to spell stuff like that.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, you got cross-language discussions.
Plus, it's like I didn't know if it had like a silent letter in it, you know.
A silent D.
In Orcish, you have to grunt at this specific time.
Yeah.
This is what this symbol means for it, and
Yeah.
so on.
But he's gonna be like, I heard some people talk by clicking, and I wasn't sure if that was like a thing.
Oh my
Like,
God.
Does Krusk? What languages does Krusk actually know? Is it just Orcish and Common?
let me check. I think it's Orcish and Common, and I think that's it. 'Cause I think I had the option for other languages, but I didn't pick any because I didn't think he would know any.
100% swears at you in Elvish.
What's what language is under? Oh, I see them. I've got Abyssal here, but I don't think that's correct. Oh, that was when I was Evil Krusk. I thought he would know Abyssal, but I could probably take that off now.
It's still maintained.
Knowledge would still be there.
Okay, he'll keep it, but he doesn't want to talk about it, so he won't tell you. He'll just say. I
Don't
speak
worry.
Common. He'll be like, oh, there's one other, but yeah, I don't want to talk about it.
Okay. After swearing at you in Elvish, because Turi knows Draconic for reasons, she'll do like the original spelling of Bahamut in Draconic, and then like explaining phonetically how that then goes into Common and all that jazz.
Nice.
So after a much needed language lesson for Krusk, you'll prepare and you get yourselves ready to travel to Mystra City, meeting Zeb and Holu outside the North Gate. So from what you can see, Holu has began to write the inscription for the Teleportation Circle. And it isn't quite finished yet. There's a few more markings and stuff to write down. And then Seb greets you all and says, "Right, okay. So the plan is, Holu will complete the teleportation circle. What you need to do is you all need to get in the cart and ride at Holu, not at fast speed, just a normal casual trot should do it. The trick is to all go through at the same time within about, I think, 6 seconds is the optimum time frame. Any slower and you'll cut people off and run out.
Cut
So-
people. Okay.
Cut
It's
people in half, or they just won't be able to get in.
the less I've said about that, the better. We'll just hope that you do it right.
You haven't had any cases of that though, right?
Yeah, what
Practice
sort
runs?
of said?
Like,
Practice run.
maybe a couple.
Can we
Well,
just throw a rat in?
I trust in your abilities. It's all okay. I've negotiated with what I can with Thieves Cult from here. They're aware of our coming, and as long as we don't go in too quickly, you'll be able to react on the other side in time. Who's
All right.
who?
So not too
who's
slow,
driving?
otherwise someone gets cut in half. But not too fast, otherwise I'll run over somebody in the Thieves
Oh
Guild.
god.
From the discussion for what I could discuss over 2 sendings, it's quite a short stopping distance once you get to the other side.
So we have a high possibility of crashing.
So just don't go too fast, and when you're on the other side, you better stop the horse quite quickly. Assuming
All right,
whoever of you.
I'm going to lead the horse, not drive it. Especially as I'm going to have to get her to walk into a magical portal, which she's pretty good, but she's not an experienced cat like Sooty. She isn't gonna like that shit.
Nadia, you keep mentioning this thing about Sooty. Have you got like a newfound? What is this? This is a lot of
No,
love.
no,
for
no,
Sooty.
this is good. This is exactly what we need more of in the JC.
Is it?
Yeah, yeah.
Sure.
Could we not start in the circle? Do we have to
To go through, right?
go? Well, like if we
Well,
start and then walk.
the cart is too big to start there. It needs to travel through.
It would stick out.
So you might as well, and so there's not always going to be enough time for you all to get through, and then you all to jump in afterwards.
What if
But
Hollow fucks
if
up
you-
and we've run them over and then they can't do the spell anymore? Just questioning.
Just
What?
what?
Just get in the car. Come on.
Okay.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine as long as you go fast enough, and then at the other end you stop at the right time.
Talari will sit as
It'll
far.
all be fine.
Talari will sit as far forward on the wagon as she
Yeah,
possibly
I was
can.
gonna say that, yeah. Good shout.
Fury is like scrunching up into the tiniest ball she
We're all
possibly
just
could
like
fathom.
one
Yeah.
half of the wagon.
We're all just like doing a big group hug.
Just
Well,
stay over there, okay? Just
No, we want to be close.
not too close.
So if Nadia's walking the horse, she's at the front. So there's 2 seats at the very front where you would normally have the driver. So 2 people can sit there, and then you've got the 2 spots immediately afterwards, which is also prime jostling position for you all anyway under the canopy. So and Seb will hop on the back the cart, and Ulva will be in the cart as well, just to make things smoother for everything. So the only people outside the car is going to be Nadia and the horse, who are going side by side. Everyone in the car, and Holu doing the teleportation circle.
I suppose Olva would be outside as well because she can't fit on the.
Well, she can fit.
Fit in the car.
Can she fit in the car?
Because 2 people are going to be at the
That
front.
fucking big.
Which is
Because
large.
2
isn't
people are going to be at the front in the driver's seats.
Mhm.
There's more space in the back.
Okay. That's fine.
Very well, pick a driver's seat.
Logistically, it all works.
Okay. Fine.
You don't need to look too hard into it.
Okay.
It can work. It's okay.
Yes, it's just going to keep his eyes shut until they're through to the other side.
Turi's getting on a driver's seat and will be like scrunched up and ducking because she doesn't know how tall this portal is.
Yeah, I think
Well,
Talari would be
it's
like
over the car,
holding,
like,
grabbing
press
really hard
start.
onto the edge of the cart.
Please keep
Yeah.
your arms and legs inside the car.
Yeah.
Carefully keep your arms and legs inside the ride at all time until it has come to a full stop.
A full stop is what's worrying.
Yeah, make all your jokes as you wish. So yeah. All aboard, and away we go. So you begin to build up some steam, just not walking pace, but like jogging pace for Nadia, alongside the horse, to get just a fair enough speed. As you get basically within a step of the teleportation circle, Holu draws in the last marking, teleports, and then basically you walk through, and you pretty much instantaneously you all magically teleport from the outside into an inside space. Now, for the majority of you inside the cart, it just goes a bit darker, but for those of you outside, it's essentially a cavernous sewer space. So you go into it's fairly smelly, it's a bit dank, but it serves your purpose really well, and you're able to get through and basically stop right in the nick of time before a pair of doors. You basically come teleport through. You get about 5 steps of jogging before you meet a pair of doors. You're like, oh shit, stop, and you stop in time. Looking around, there's lots of dock work. Well, it's more I say dock workers, warehouse workers moving stacks of boxes around. From what you could tell, people had to move a lot of these boxes around to make sure that the horse and cart could fit. And there's a fairly clean spot where you're standing where you think a few boxes were about an hour or so ago. As is typical fashion.
Who sat next to Turi?
Well,
The front.
not
I
not
would've let the ladies.
yeah, not
sit
Talari.
next to-
Talari would be inside the wagon.
Oh, okay.
Well, Thoradin. The Turygurtha and Thoradin on the driver's seat.
Your wrist absolutely clenched. She is like that, scrunched down.
Thoradin's probably cool with that.
I'm talking nails digging in, like.
It's like squeeze harder.
hold on tight, baby.
So you are now in Mystra City.
Nadia's going to be like petting the horse and telling it it's done a good job, because I can't imagine that it's particularly pleased by the teleportation and the
Yeah.
sudden door.
Yeah, so from going from the outside to the inside, the horse is definitely startled. It's fairly well trained with you now to be to be calm when you're calm. But,
That's why
going-
she's right up by its head rather than
Mm.
driving from the back.
Yeah. 100%. Ulva comes bounding off into your side, and you're all in one piece.
You're a good
You're all
girl, too.
you're all happy. You are in Mystra City. It's a bit smelly. It's a bit dank. It's a bit gloomy, but you are there.
So I hate to ask this question, but how do I get the cart out of here?
A halfling comes along and says, "Right, you there," pointing to other warehouse workers. Right, you there. Go open this door and lead them out of there. We don't want them in it. Get out of it and seeing our bears. Get out of it as soon as possible. Right, go on. Right, Seb, where are you? We've got some dealings to do. And they march on over to Seb, and Seb's just discussing to the side. Gives you all a thumbs up, and if you're all happy to leave with the 2 warehouse workers,
I'm gonna put up some flyers and also give flyers to any like halflings who walk past us. Must be like, have you heard of Bahamut? Have you heard of our Lord?
it's not, there's only the one halfling who's the lead warehouse worker,
Okay.
and then it's assorted races everywhere. It's a typical menagerie of races you get everywhere. To be fair,
Turi's just like raining money with flyers. Just
that's what
raining them out.
It's such a bizarre image from Turi as well.
the halfling snaps, says, "Oi! Stop littering in my warehouse. Pick those up."
Okay, I'm sorry. Speedily, like, picks them up and starts handing them to people instead. Hey, have you heard of Bahamut? Hey, have you heard of Bahamut? Hey, have you heard of Bahamut?
They look at you dumbfounded, like,
But, like, ridiculously fast.
they all look at you and say, "We work for Bait." Not Bait, sorry, Mask. Sorry. We work for Mask. Wow.
They've
Like,
got you there.
looking at you like dumbfounded.
Like, different life choices. Life choices. Life choices. Life choices. Life choices.
Educated
repent.
This party
And
just gets weirder by the day, I swear to God.
you overhear the halfling say, to Seb, "Get them out of here, or I'm charging you extra." And Seb just goes, "Go, get out of here! What are you doing handing them to? Go,
To
piss
be fair,
off!"
like as soon as like the way is open, Nadia will have moved the cart forward. She doesn't like being in here any more than the horse does.
Yeah, it's the people left behind, not necessarily the people, the horse and cart.
Oh, I found
The,
that they were still on the thing.
So
Sorry.
they all shoo you out. It's like, no, your audience. Go, get out of here. and they dispatch you outside the walls of the city. You end up around the northeast side of the city, and you can basically enter as normal under your own steam. So you leave Seb and Holly behind, but you are now at Mystra City.
Right. So we probably best thing to do is just get in and stable up, I guess.
Oh, what was our plan when we got here? We going straight to the capital priest.
We need to find out the priests / our employers, which I'm pretty sure
Okay.
are the priests. But we need to find them immediately and leave as little chance for whoever the contract killer to find you, and
yes.
even less chance for the priests of Merkel to find us.
Maybe he's moved on by now. It has been quite a long time.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Was that John the Carpenter? Was it? No, no. That's it.
It was John the contract maker.
You just said John the Carpenter.
For some reason, it was like, I thought it was like a shtick or something. He just
Very biblical, isn't it?
Definitely contract maker,
Yeah,
not carpenter.
he makes
sure
your coffins. Oh shit!
I think it was like a contract killer.
It was a gentleman contract. Contract killer.
Oops.
Great.
So you enter the city, and Talari, as you recognise, there is a greeter out there, and for all of you that have the amulets of proof against detection and location, you feel like a presence brush your thoughts and move on. For all of you who don't feel anything, but you see that she the main greeter, she was like nods and like takes note. As you're heading to the stables, in fairly stark contrast to Azuth City, the guards here aren't wholly warforged. There is a fair spattering of, but there is some warforged still there, as similarly in Azuth City, but there is a spattering of other races here instead. So it's not just a blanket warforged city guardship. It's a more varied group that you go across. As you're as you're getting like the horse stabled and sorted, a different priest comes up to you and says, "Welcome, Justice Collective. I'm glad to have you all in our fair city. Are you all happy? It's taken you many days to get here. Are you all okay?"
No, we're very unhappy actually.
Oh, okay.
Many
We
things
ran
to
into a
discuss.
few snags on the road, you could say.
There's a lot to discuss. Is there somewhere more quiet where we can go?
Talari's?
Yes.
Oh, wait.
Probably
have one.
not Talari's room in which
We're not, we're not quite
I
there
could
yet.
probably
This
give us somewhere a wee bit better than that, Krusk.
slightly more formal conversation, Krusk.
I like doing it in your room, Chloe.
Yes.
Oh,
Crazy.
what exactly?
Did I miss something here?
No.
You guys have some private meetings? Or?
No.
Just
No.
disgusted about the argument from the group.
No.
I am under strict orders to bring you to Euphemia, our high priestess. Would you please, if you please, would you like to follow me?
Okay.
Nadia isn't moving until the horse is properly sorted out.
Yep.
So
That's
if
fine. They're
if
willing
it
to wait.
isn't, she's like, not till I've taken all this harness off.
Yep, that's fine. The stable hands and stuff will help you as well if you're willing them to help them. Standard affair. The horse is all happy and looked after.
All right, hopefully I'll be back for you a bit quicker this time. She's going to say,
Yeah. The priest will hand the stable owner a note and nod at them and turn around and say, "Would you like to please follow me?"
Okay.
do
Would you
that?
like to?
Yeah.
Sweet.
Did we
Yeah.
catch what that note was? Or Turi would have looked.
Just a folded piece of paper from what you can tell.
Good.
But yeah, so they lead you on to. They lead you into the church. This time into the church, it is doesn't feel like you transferred into a different
Oh, good.
plane.
No
I mean,
hellfire.
like you take like a deeper look on the inside, and it doesn't look like you're being teleported into a different place as before.
Definitely,
pass-
she's definitely
Vicious.
more paranoid every time she walks into a church from going like, you know.
I can imagine all of us
No,
just like
this is
really deep breath,
proper.
step
We
in.
got we got ambushed by the death cult. We've been teleported to the 9 hells.
Yeah.
Churches are
Yeah.
not good for
Can
us.
I stealth?
No.
Can I like stealthily paste some flyers just on like church seats and stuff, like without
Come on, this church should
In
understand.
the
That's
church,
as if they're a
man.
wee bit insensitive.
Wow.
you know, just little corners, nooks
That's
and
fine.
crannies.
So, so as you walk in, you walk through the threshold. It feels normal. Like you've entered any other normal church apart from when you entered Merkel Village's church,
Which wasn't normal.
which wasn't normal. But yeah, entering through is all normal. As you go in, this place is like a half normal temple with statues of Mystra all over the place. Lots of what's the word, like places, things of her working on a weave on a loom of some kind, like actually trying, almost making the weave of magic look real almost. Lots of iconography, that's the word, of her like tending to the weave, patching any holes that could might have appeared, making her look like a doting mother almost, like darning socks in many ways almost, to the people. The other half is just this other quarter is a section of just libraries of a library, where you could just see books upon books upon books upon books upon books stacked to the rafters. And then another last quarter is just filled with a artifact collection of magical items. It is of weapons, of staffs, of wands, of suits of armor, of many, 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 many different amazing, magical and wonderful things that, with all the money in the world, you probably still couldn't afford in many senses.
Mm.
They lead you through, winding through the many pews and such. Krusk, you try to leave a few pamphlets behind, and shortly after you, like an unseen servant, is just picks things up as you go behind you.
Krusk, this is hallowed ground. What are you doing?
I thought that was a different piece of paper. Oh no, I'm so sorry.
And as you drop more behind you, it's just like almost carrying behind, picking them up and carrying back to you. Just waiting for you to turn around and hand it back to you to pick up again.
Just avoid eye contact with the with the guy. I've been caught
Eventually,
out.
yeah. Eventually, leading you through a few doorways, up a few flights of stairs, into a fairly quaint antechamber. It's fairly modest. There's only it's a circular room with bookshelves, with looks like mementos, not necessarily magical artifacts, but of items that seem to hold cultural or sentimental significance to the owner of the room. There's chairs for all of you to sit down if you wish, and there's a desk with a chair behind, but no one else. There's no one else in the room at the moment apart from you all and the priest who has led you here.
Yeah, Cross will sit.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, Nadia will sit.
Happy to
Through a
sit.
stand.
Through a stand. For
They're
those
not
who
magical, you know.
I love Turi's so paranoid. It's great. She's like, no, I'll stand. I'm not
Do
gonna make
you have
myself
any idea how
even
many
the
people?
slightest bit more vulnerable.
Do you have any idea how many people I've assassinated sitting down?
Many of you
Ridiculous.
assassinated standing up.
Not as many. People standing up, they are alert, they know what they're doing. Sitting down, you're relaxed.
She's reformed, like Krusk looking at like the wizard guy. The JC does not condone assassinations.
No, the JC does not condone assassinations. Unless they're to evil people
Yep.
that want
Yeah.
to be redeemed.
Yep.
Okay. They hold they look like they've had a message sent to them as you can see their mouth move, in a whisper back, and they say Euphemia will be with you shortly. And they go to leave the room, leaving you alone. You have about 5 minutes or so before someone enters the room. If you like to inspect the room or look around the room or anything like that, or if you're just happy to sit.
Nadia is. Oh,
So the
carry
chairs
on.
are
I thought you'd finished.
the chairs are fairly comfy. And there's some light refreshments available for those of you who wish to take them.
We'll take some of the refreshments. Yeah.
Nadia is idly curious about the room we're in. Like she'll go and have a look at all the the Mystra trappings and.
Yeah, I mean, Talari will probably just sit there. But yeah, just sort of looking around the room.
Tori's
looking
investigating for
looking at all the
medallions.
pictures.
Can't see any medallions.
But is there not iconography, but any symbolism of sort of medallions or her holding a medallion or wielding a medallion? Because she's one of the people that banished Merkel, right? So I'm just curious to see if there's any visual of her bearing a medallion. It doesn't necessarily have to have the same kind of look as the ones we're wearing. I'm just curious if there's scenes of her wearing one.
There's scenes of her in robes wielding like a sword and like displaying like feats of great magic, powerful magic. Scenes of her tending to the weave. There's one special scene, one scene especially, sorry, where it's like her finishing the weave and literally she unfurl a blanket over the night sky, and it goes from day to night, and like the stars are like the holes in the weave.
Cool.
Nice.
But there's nothing specifically with her that you could tell with a medallion on. It's all just her with certainly magical artifacts. So with staff, swords, and such. With like her with many rings on her hands, with her wielding wands and such. But not so much medallions.
Yes, okay.
And you can't see any Death Cult iconography either.
That was my next question. Cool.
Matt knows what you want by now.
That was the second tier question. I could feel coming. No, but you can't see any Death Cult iconography either. There is some scenes with her working with other mages. So you assume to be Azuth and potentially what's the bloody name? Begins with Savras. Yeah, you assume to be Azuth and Savras. What you assume to be one of like Mystra promoting Azuth to godhood is what it seems very much like. The actual the mortal trappings in the room, some very homely. One is just like a plain wooden stick that you think is a wand. Some drawn pictures of family that you see. For what it looks like, Euphemia is a halfling. From what you can tell from some of the pictures and you can tell that the way things are ordered is flipped. Normally, you put the things that are most treasured higher or around your eye level. For you guys, eye level, well, for her, eye level is lower, so her more treasured things are at a lower level to what you guys normally are looking at. So when you're sat down, it actually looks more like where her eyesight would be. After about 5 minutes or so, is there anything else you'd like to do in that 5 minutes? Just happy eating some of the refreshments, perusing around the room?
Yeah.
looking
he's
around for
fine
Alec
on
and
it.
That's quick, spit it out, it's poison.
with with that, you hear a voice behind you goes, "I assure you, we mean you no ill intention here."
I was just joking.
I'm glad. I was too.
Uh,
I'm joking. I'm joking. We do mean you have no ill intention here. Welcome, Justice Collective, one and all. I am Euphemia, and Euphemia is a halfling woman with short brown hair, copped around like a bob, I think, bob haircut, um, and with a casual blue, well, white robe with blue highlights embedded within. Um, they give you a nod. Meet you eye to eye for those who wish to meet eyes with Euphemia, and give you a nod when you do meet eye to eye. I'm glad you arrived here at last. I was concerned for your safety. It's been a long time. I was afraid when I got word from the Helm encampment mercenaries that you were assaulted by Balgaras and demons of such sorts. I'm glad that you're able to return to us and deliver these medallions, which I thank you. The first order of business is, of course, the contract outstanding between us. We're happy to settle that now, if you wish. To hand over one of your medallions, and we'll hand over the finalization of your payment. They move around to their desk and shuffle some papers around. I believe.
Before we do that,
Yes.
we fear that you might be labouring under a misapprehension.
Go
Amulets
on.
containing 1/5 of the Demon Lord Orcus, wasn't it?
Yes, that was the initial assumption.
How sure are you about that?
Well, we have recently been with discussions of the Merkel village priests, and after some deliberation, is come to light there is indeed Merkel residing within. Now, I believe this shouldn't affect the nature of our first contract with each other.
no, but we all are worried about what might happen if all the medallions are collected in one place, and I think it's fair to say we all feel that Merkel should be released to essentially follow his ascendancy against the current Merkel. My friend here, gestures to Talari, is a follower of Kellenvor and believes that the reason that there are undead troubles is due to the fact that the current Merkel does not wield the full power that they should.
Talari's
Um,
nodding along.
So we have a vested interest in Merkel being released to current Merkel.
Right? Yes. I've had some of these discussions already with Elenil and his group. Please let us handle the last trappings of this contract so we can breathe easier. What happens with this last medallion is going to be of hot debate, and it's I would feel more comfortable if we sort this contract out and then we can discuss what can happen next.
Do the hand signal to Krusk. as subtly as I possibly can.
Is that our cast message?
I think maybe if we, I need to ask Talari about this. I think maybe if we give them one, we still have the other, and at least we can continue with conversation. I sense a brick wall. We do not.
But you guys can assume I like relay the messages like around the group, so we can like ping messages around each other.
It's an awkward few minutes or so by doing that. You
Yeah.
can only message one person and then one person and one person.
And the thing is,
one
these are
person.
magic people. They know what's happening because
Yeah,
we're all just
they'll
like,
work that one out that we're having a silent conference.
yeah. It was all kind of whispering to ourselves.
Thoradin just start like whistling. Just to like cut some
Matt,
tension.
remind me of the last thing the priest said. Because
He
was saying that we needed to conclude the contract because then it would be more comfortable.
Yes, precisely.
Do you mind telling me, says Nadia, partly to cover up the bloody awkward pause, what your current intentions are?
Okay. So,
'Cause we know Mystra has no reason to love Merkel.
no, she does not. No, as you are probably well aware, there is no love lust between Mr. and Merkel, and the same does go between us two priesthoods. But it's well, about 18 days. Well, not sorry, but 13 days or so ago, that Elenil and two of his posse arrived here to discuss some things about Merkel and such. We had a good few days of us just playing about. We were in one room, they're in another, promising to be. It was a good 5 days or so of just this delaying
Excellent.
them.
Thank you for that. That indirectly pays something of a score.
Oh, you really?
Well, I will be honest. The reason he descended on you about 13 days ago is thinking that the priest of Merkel might be the best person to tell about the fact that we have like part of Merkel in an amulet. And not knowing if you would be like, we're going to destroy him anyway. We went and we were like, we've got a part of your god in this amulet, and they were like, oh right, give us the amulet then, and we were like, no, because we don't trust you worth an inch. And they were like, well, you can keep them if you do this bloody stupid task for us. So they did the task, implying that they would wait for us to come back. No, 18 days worth of time travel, and then vanished off the face of the planet when we got back. So if you've been dicking them around for 5 days, I'm heartily glad of it.
Those bastards.
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
sorry.
I agree. Feels good from my perspective as well. I agree. I think we can all agree. A bit of dicking around for the Merkel priest is cool.
I
Yes.
fear that we may have also been had as well then. We were under the impression that they hadn't met you yet. And that they were, it was by pure providence that they came here.
They're
Because,
a bunch of fucking liars.
well,
So what they get for being the priest of an evil god.
much so. Let me explain. So, after about 5 days or so of dicking them around, as we say,
So
there was a few
I
days.
shocked that priest would say that.
It took us a few days of. Well, they professed that they knew that it was Merkel within the amulet and not anybody, and not Orcus or anyone else. And we eventually did acquiesce and allowed them to see the other medallions, and under much zone of truth and intense discussions and debates, we allowed them to hold two of them, Elenil and Lucius. I believe the other person's name is.
Lucius, did you say? He's a criminal.
So it took them a good few days of just ambient prayer and focus on the medallions, but eventually Merkel did appear to them, and we were able to confirm this through Zone of Truths again. So, but to be perfectly honest, they had no real need to lie at this point. But we have struck a deal with them. We allowed them to hold on to the other 2 medallions. We currently hold one, which is why I'm quite keen to have our contract resolved. So I also have 2. Now, we agreed that whomever holds the majority of medallions decides what to do with Merkel.
Was this before or after you gave them 2 of them?
This is once they had already held 2, and we had already confirmed and agreed that it was indeed Merkel within. I believe Merkel was hiding themselves within the medallion, quite rightfully so, because if, to be perfectly honest, if we had discovered it was Merkel earlier, we probably would have just gotten rid of the medallions elsewhere and forbidden the trouble. To be perfectly honest, if Mystra had gotten if Mystra had gotten hold of it, then for certainly she would have just banished the medallions at hand. But
At least you're honest.
well, honesty is only gonna be fair in this point. So we have struck a deal. Whoever holds the majority of the medallions decides what happens. Now, both myself and Ilanil agree that Merkel does need to be released. That is a certainty. What Elenil proposes is that he wants Merkel Secondus, as he determines it, to be released immediately. And we have agreed that if they hold the majority of medallions to down, that we will assist where necessary. But they propose that no, within we would not allow it to be here. It will be within the domain of death, and Merkel Secondus have to fight Merkel Prime or whatever how we should to define the 2. What I've had discussions with Mystra and my capital priest, and we strongly feel that both versions of Merkel need to go through ascendancy at the same time. So we would need to find a suitable candidate for ascendancy and prepare them and have them ready, and then have Merkel Secondus released at the same time as the champion or the ascendee. Precisely. Between the 3 versions, between the 3 potential contenders, and whomever wins wins. The fastest someone could be chosen and selected forward is about a year. I think it's the fastest someone's ever been ready. And well, found and became ready.
The current ascendancy.
Well, with Tyr being basically deposed and on hold, it's I've had brief discussions with my capital priests, and it's an important enough process to happen to be fast tracked. Certainly, if it's a many wins on all sides. It's a chance to get Merkel back into balance. It's a chance for the evil sect of the capital priests to get a win, and if it works correctly, it could even solve part of the undead crisis we have going on, which is a win even for the good sect. It's almost a win-win all round, even though an evil god does gain power again.
What what is the advantage of having a third party do this ascendancy? From what I understand, we achieve the same goals either way, except siding with the Merkle priests, it will happen quicker, with only two parties involved. Whereas we go with your method, the undead will roam around the realm, for another year, just to add another party to it. I'm unsure of what advantage your method poses.
Well, for us, it gives Ascendancy it's the fairest opportunity for either of the three parties to win. We've handled the undead problem for for over 1,000 years now. It's one more year isn't going to be a problem at all, really, in the grand scheme of things. We might as well get it right rather than speed up the process and risk what's going on. At least by going through the proper ascendancy channels, we have proper control and oversight over what happens. If there was to be a cataclysm, a terrible event that could have happened based off of either current Merkel's gaining power and deciding to bring retribution upon the citizens of the realm, I mean, we're already right there prepared to intervene. Rather than if something's happened now, we're a year late on preparations. We're not sure what could happen. It's quite a large unknown. It's from our professional standpoint, it's rather reckless to do so. But it's if look if we're able to sort out our contract, solve that here and now, we will have to. Elenil will have to, and then it is really up to you who decides the majority. We can get Elenil in it. We can go to another room, get Elenil in there, and we can heartily debate the pros and cons of either side and avoid my bias against you to try and turn you my way. I can only imagine the uproar of Elenil to call fast if they're not in the decision making process.
I mean, I think I understand the pros and cons of both sides. I don't believe I need to share another room with that man. But it basically, the crux of it is, your method, while it takes a year, is somewhat safer, whereas the other way is quicker, but holds a potential risk of,
Less safe.
realm destruction.
Would it be all right?
By my expertise.
But the realm destruction could still happen using your method. The only difference is instead of being a 50-50 chance, it's a 33% chance. Correct? You're splitting it 3 ways instead of 2 ways. But the chance is still there.
Just
50,
put
100%
that
chance.
out there. There's also the whole undead for a year roaming around.
Indeed, which
So
is something I
causing a
personally
problem.
am.
Feel them.
Which is personally something that I want to solve. Also, the families of those who get killed by the undead may not be too impressed that we are letting them roam free for another year. Yes, they may be dealt with, but how many innocents will suffer in the meantime? How many
have an
more
idea.
towns get overrun by undead in the meantime?
But I have an idea. My last idea didn't go so well, so feel free to tell me to shut up. If we do conclude our contract here, and then it's 50-50 between the two, and we can decide where the last one goes.
Mhm.
And the lady priest agrees not to tell the Merkel assholes where we are, because I wouldn't put them past a little midnight visit with a horde of undead if they did know where we were. That we take some time to think about it.
That would seem the best course of action. We get paid for our work, which
Get
I'm
paid
sure,
for our courier job.
which Thoradin will be very happy for. And yes, we can sway the next decision based on our final medallion, which we will discuss in private. Makes sense to me,
Without either of your input.
indeed. I think as a group we understand both sides. I don't believe we need further input.
If we decide to go discuss and everything and think about it, do we? I am not sure, but do we feel we have the time to do that? Are we worried about time anymore? Is this
Another day.
just another day? Have we accepted Elenil will stand by their word, the lying crack of shit he is?
Yes. How much do you feel you can control Elnil from not releasing his god, for example, in the middle of your city to wreak destruction on your citizens, which is what we were worried about when we agreed to his bullshit to get the medallion back out of his hands?
Essentially, we will still hold 2, even if even if they hold 3. They will still need our input and our expertise. Mystra has, well, Mystra created the medallions in the first place, as you all may know or might be aware of the history. Mystra, Zuth, and Southrith combined together to trap Merkel in these medallions, it seems, and so Mystra is going to guide my hands to unlock them, and Mystra certainly won't do it upon anybody's command.
So to send these medallions to, say for example, we wanted to send these medallions to the domain of death. You are the only people that we need to have assist us with this. The Merkel priests are not involved. Correct?
Well, they will travel to the domain of death. We will go with them, and although we could get there ourselves if we really wish to, but a Mr. Priest in the domain of death, no matter how incapacitated Merkel currently is, it's unlikely to be a kind affair.
Well, my line of thought. You say the one holding the most medallions gets to decide how they are used. What if we were to hold the most medallions?
You have a third option, Talari?
Well, no, but we can certainly assure that things are done the correct way, and no additional scheming will occur. We are the Justice Collective, are we not?
Yep.
Krusk,
Juicy.
Of course, yeah. Thank you, Krusk. Therefore, if we all seem to be very wary of the Merkel priests and how trustworthy they are, surely everyone in this room can at least trust us to do the correct thing. And we could sort that out right here without the Merkel priest intervention. You have a medallion, we have 2. Or 3.
We'd still need to winch the other 2 out of those.
But as far as this gentleman's agreement has gone, we would be the party that holds the most medallions. They would be honor bound to oblige.
Well,
Which honor they have.
the agreements between between the clergy of Mystra versus the clergy of Merkel.
Not us. Also, are you
It'll be
really
a
willing to rely on that asshole's honor? I don't know how much he has.
Well, I would certainly highlight straight away whether we could trust him with said medallions. We can't trust.
And Aloysius is a straight up pain in the ass.
Yes.
Yeah, he fucking is. Could I offer a third option, possibly, maybe
Fourth?
or
Option?
fourth or fifth.
fourth, fifth, whatever you want to call it.
Seventh.
This is probably more like ninth. we don't. I don't think any of us particularly know how well the ascendancy works. Not overly in depth, as perhaps you priests might. I know there is a process to follow, but what if we found your champion? And what if we, not the Merkel priests, not you, went to the domain of death and oversaw the proceedings
The
to make
preparation of the
sure?
champion would still take a year.
My question is, how would you feel if we chose a champion with less of the paperwork?
Champion has to be chosen by the priests of Merkel.
That's what I mean by without the paperwork.
Well,
They
it's
wouldn't be an Ascendant champion then, would they? They'd just be some bloke.
And
the purpose of ascendancy is to find a person in this realm that most aligns with the god chosen for ascendancy. In this scenario, it is Merkel. So it is we will need to find a person who most closely aligns with Merkel's ideals, Merkel's approach, Merkel's ideas. And one of the most outstanding qualifications is that they're not part of the clergy already. So no person in any priesthood, regardless of Merkel or Mystra or um, or Lolth, doesn't matter. They are ineligible for ascendancy. They won't be able to pick themselves, and it's the job of the capital priests to find someone, and they run the show. It's
So
the Merkel priests themselves won't doing the picking
Mm.
of the person. They don't have the resources, frankly. They're going to be too busy running their own city, to be perfectly honest.
so someone who fits Merkel's ideals, somebody who wishes people were dead. What exactly are these ideals?
Of Merkel. So it's the pursuit of death. To collect souls, to
Death is
to
its most
hand
fearsome form, isn't he?
yes, they collect souls to hand over to Kalimvor to decide and help judge souls on how best to where they best fit of in their afterlife.
To see if they could
They
be to
And
see to,
terrifying.
so somebody who kills a lot of people
it's
and sends people to be judged to see if they could be
it's
redeemed.
it
I
is
don't like
it is
this.
it is not it is
I'm
it is
just who's someone
it
who's
is
quite
not
fearful, a person
it
of the
is not
night.
it is not a murderer. It is not someone who kills for the necessary of killing. It is someone who is willing to kill no matter what, no matter the innocent, the worthy, the unworthy. They will collect their soul regardless. If a child is to die in childbirth, then they will take that soul regardless. If there's the holiest man in the world, holiest person in the world, their soul will be taken regardless. There is no um, no qualms, there's no query around that question. Soul is to go is to go. For as good or as bad as you may deem that to be, it's and you take joy in it potentially, sure. But that's not
I
my place to judge.
personally want to get tangled up with another ascendancy.
The a couple of problems with the whole ascendancy, mainly the year of more undead. But I guess one other question is, can we use the powers of the Ascendancy to weaken both Merkles to allow a fair fight between the two of them to decide which one
And whoever
comes
wins
out on
is
top.
less likely to flip their shit immediately.
Hopefully. It's technically an Ascendancy. One of them was decided as champion.
I mean, one could argue that they're the current secondus, I believe you referred to them,
Second Merkel seconds, yeah.
didn't
And
receive
those
a
trades.
didn't actually complete their ascendancy. The whole
So if
point of
anything, we would
ascendancy, the whole point of ascendancy is you gain all the powers of your deity, which did not happen because half of it was taken away. So, if anything, we are going through the proper channels where all we are doing is completing that ascendancy or resuming that ascendancy.
just a bit late to the party kind of situation.
Essentially, yes.
And if
Like
we're
I
late,
say,
what does 1 year make?
like I say, I think we ought to go and think about it if we get to make this decision.
Hmm. But I
How do
agree,
you?
we should at least
Sorry.
we may as well give the medallion we were agreed to, complete that contract,
Collect our payment.
and then we can decide tonight, by tomorrow, what we do with this
Try not to
last
get
one.
ambushed by death priests in the middle of the night.
Should
Yes.
probably camp outside the city or something.
Yes, and we have a certain way of staying hidden. Don't we, Thoradin?
Yeah.
So
It's Scrivener's ring.
We can provide you safe harbor if you wish to stay the night. You don't have to stay outside the city.
I think for this to be set
Safe
fair,
harbor on neutral ground.
we should be not receiving help from anybody. We wouldn't want our decision to be viewed as being swayed in any way or listened to. The fact of the matter is, we've only just met you. We don't know how trustworthy you necessarily are. You could easily put a listening magic spell in the room that we stay in. So we'd rather
Okay.
stay on our own terms.
Fair enough.
And who has the other medallion? I think it's Thord. Is it
I do.
Thoradin?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's in your bag of
It's
holdings.
been
Okay.
me for a while.
Thoradin, if you are so willing, would you pass the lady, man? I forgot what you. Female.
Lady.
Pass-
Euphemia.
Yeah, that's it. Pass. Would you pass the dear lady the medallion so we can be paid?
How much for the medallion was it?
So, the contract before was that you were paid. The contract was for basically 2,000 gold each, which you were paid half up front, and you received the second half of the payment upon completion. So it's 1,000 gold each on this end because you've already been paid the first 1,000. So 5,000 gold in total.
So we can add 1,000 gold to our
Well,
wallets.
Ordin can add 2.
Yeah, fine. Yeah, hand over. That's a lot of gold.
They basically hand over you with a writ of paper that says hand this to the bank and they'll handle the cash for you. And
Okay.
it's 5 different writs for because
Aw.
they're not named to specific people.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So, but it's just
Thoradin,
because
do
it's
not write your name on
No,
your file.
I'm taking them all, and they're going.
they'll be on the table, so you
Yeah.
can dish them out as you wish between the 5 of you.
Talari will
gonna-
take hers like immediately because he does not trust
You
Thoradin.
know what Thoradin's
Yeah,
like.
Krusk will take. Krusk normally doesn't care, but he's
No,
going to
no,
take
they're already
it and
gone.
say, "This is for
They're already
City."
gone.
No, City needs the money. Hand it over.
No, I took them all. No, legit. Legit,
I'm building
taking
a I'm building a pension fund for him.
Thoradin,
It's
if you
not a
don't wanna be
person. Oh,
No, Thoradin.
If
my
you
God.
don't want to be picked up by your ankles and shaken until they fall out, give them back, mate. I'm more than tall enough to do that to you.
Ordin, come on, just give them their notes.
Yeah.
Give City his money. I mean,
No,
Biden gives City his
No,
money.
Krusk, if you're spending that gold on a bloody cat, I'm taking it. I'm taking the money. I don't care. I'm not letting you spend 1,000 gold.
I
on a
can't be
cat.
moved. I can't be moved on this
Isn't
Biden.
that
He needs the money.
The cat doesn't give a shit about how much money you spend on it.
Let Krusk spend his money however he likes. Seriously, if you don't give it back, I will turn you upside down by your ankles and shake you until it falls out, Thoradin. I'm not shitting you here.
Okay.
In front of this lady
give
priestess
he'll
and
give them
everything.
out. He'll give them out.
Thank you.
Thank you, Thoradin.
Plus 500 gold.
You can keep mine.
He will.
1,000 gold. So
Oh.
Plus 1,000 gold.
That's
You
a
got
1,000, sorry.
before.
Yeah.
Okay.
1,000 each.
500 for Krusk, 500 for.
Yeah, yours had just changed to 500 when you
He's got his own
became.
bank
Yeah.
account these days.
Yeah.
We'll we'll take you out of the city, the quiet path.
I mean,
Just so-
we'll probably end up going to the bank first to just deposit the checks basically, so that they
Yes,
want to make sure I've written that down.
cool, of course. Well, we'll send. I'll send my colleague with you, and whenever you wish to leave the city, they'll make sure you leave discreetly.
Yeah, I
you
think
want-
we probably end up leaving as soon as we deposit the cash, right? Unless anyone wants to.
No, Cross got nothing else to do.
It's fair to say that we all want to get out and just
Mm.
take some time.
Hmm.
take some time to think it over. That's cool. So you go into the bank, fairly straightforward. They basically almost have the 1,000 gold bags prepared in advance. So you get all that very easily, and they escort you out of the city. Essentially, they teleport you. They say that your horse and cart is cared for as long as you need to be in the city. I
Thank you.
hope to see you in the morning. Look for me when you enter the city, and we'll organize a meeting with everybody, all parties involved.
I assume we just return to the church.
Oh, you'll see me. Don't you worry.
Okay.
When you enter the city.
Ominous at all.
No.
So so you all set up your camp away from the city, take your usual outside precautions, and set up as you wish, or whenever you're, if you and whenever you want to begin your long rest, you can do your tiny hut.
Yeah. Because that's probably going to be the tiny hut's probably the safest way to
Yeah.
keep out any eyes and ears.
Yep.
But yeah. Yeah, I can't think of.
This is a lot.
At
Yes.
least they don't hate us.
This is
Yet.
true. I'm
Yet.
pretty happy about that. Yeah.
I
And
suppose.
they don't. If
Sorry.
what's his name tries to level the city, he will have strong opposition. And
This is true.
forewarning, you know.
This is very true. I mean, Krusk and Thoradin, you were quite quiet. What do you have any thoughts on how we should do this?
The reason I wanted
I
to
mean-
get out of there was to say that Merkel's one of like top assholes allies, and if we suddenly give them a load of power, then that might, come back to bite us.
The 1 year thing does concern me, so it would be better to do it sooner if possible, but they were pretty adamant on that.
What do you mean?
You know, the one waiting a year thing?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
so.
no, my thought was that might actually be a good idea because we're not powering up one of our enemies all of a sudden.
Well, it's like they said, a year's nothing to them, so, if. Who knows where we'll be in
It'd
a
be
year, we might not
something
be able
if
to
we can
influence
fucking
things.
bring this whole bullshit crashing down around their ears. But it's something we have to consider. If we do it now, we'll be powering up one of our direct enemies.
But the issue with
Assuming the the loyalty will stand.
But there's no
I don't see
guarantee.
why it wouldn't.
There's no guarantee that even after a year, they still don't get the power. They very much
Yes,
might.
but within a year, we will hopefully have succeeded in what we set out to do, and they'll no longer be our enemy. Because we'll have won, I hope. Or fucked it up irreparably, and they'll have won, and it won't matter anymore.
Unless we don't get shot like 20 years into the future or some shit. Because that's a thing that happens now.
Apparently, but if we avoid ooze-filled mazes, we're probably okay.
Yes, we avoided the last one very well.
Yeah, like think about
Don't
it.
don't accept dodgy deals from evil priests again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we just walked
Don't-
into a church, Nadia.
We walked into a church and then
Shut
we
the
ended up
doors.
in hell.
It wasn't a back alley or anything.
Yeah.
It's
Shut
not
the
like
doors
Open
from
the
now
door.
on.
It was,
Open the door, give it a sniff. If it smells of sulphur, don't go.
Noted.
Yeah.
That's not that
But
how
we-
magical portals work, Nadia. That's
we,
not.
we we know that for next time though.
Exactly.
Oh god.
Look, okay, I'm just saying that it's probably something we ought to consider that I didn't want to come out with in the middle of freaking Mystra City, alright? Just in case.
So
I mean, it sounds like to
Ow.
me that the
Which side is Mr. on? Krusk, which side was Mr. on when you were evil?
yeah. Hold on.
I think I already said that she doesn't like Merkel, but I don't know
Yeah.
exactly what side she's on. She's not with
She's-
Cyric. I
Yeah,
don't
she's
think.
not with.
She's kind of
Yeah,
doing her
she's
own
not on
thing.
Zurich.
Yeah,
No.
got her own side.
it's not Cyric we're
Well-
worried about, it's Bane.
She's on the
Or
side of the
Bane.
weave.
Yeah, I can't imagine she'd side with Bane. I think she's like a neutral.
Party.
Yeah, which doesn't necessarily mean she'll help us, but it does mean
Yeah,
she's.
it doesn't mean
Yeah.
she'd let like the
But the
half.
question is, we might be powering up Merkel, and yes, they are allies with our enemy, but that does not necessarily mean they will get involved when we get to the stage that we need to get to.
Also, thinking of sort of about this, we're saying that the main fear here is that Merkel will decide once he gets all his power, whether it's Prime or Secondus, that they're going to go on some kind of mortal, murder spree in our realm. Now, I'm not an expert, but I'd like to think there are safeguards for things like that. Otherwise, why don't people flip?
Allowed?
I mean,
I think
why hasn't a god
There's
flipped
enough-
flipped their shit before?
that's the
True.
point of the ascendancy, that it weakens them.
Doing a bad job, we'll kick you out.
Yeah, but
and
there's no.
you'll-
But the thing is, there's no reason. The ascendancy is all well and good, but they obviously regain
It's
power
for
at some
fucking
point.
Capital City.
I mean, what's
Second
there?
ascendancy, yeah.
What's stopping? Okay, no, that's about what's stopping Bane now, just coming down here and murdering us,
Because he likes doing this.
or anybody? I mean, that's just an.
I think they've
But that's
probably
just
got
an.
rules that
But
they
that's
have
just
to
a.
follow.
But
They
this
can't
is
just
but this is the
destroy
point.
everyone.
If there are rules that they can't just go on killing everybody, well, surely Merkel Prime
Why
or
wouldn't they
Secondus
find Merkel?
would they would stop him surely.
Well,
I might have missed something. Why are we worried about both Merkles now? Are we worried that both of them will flip
Well,
their
either
shit? Didn't
either
matter who
it's
wins.
basically it's irrelevant really. It doesn't
of
matter.
evil.
I have to say, although Talari, you make a
They
good
both
point.
flip their shit. Sorry, I might have missed it.
If I'd been imprisoned in an amulet for 1,000 years, I'd be pretty fucking pissed when I got out.
This is just our speculation, right? We don't have any actual reason to think that he's going to go on a murder spree.
The only thing that came up that was mentioned is obviously we're talking about two powerhouses essentially. During the ascendancy, you got a champion and a weakened god. What we're basically going to be sending out is a mostly powerful god and a completely powerful but probably slightly insane god. And the ramifications of that interaction could be
Okay, well,
catastrophic.
lateral damage, basically. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So whether they're in the death domain or not, I think the impact on the realms is probably the thing we're fearing here. Whereas if they are both put through an ascendancy, they are weakened. There is a champion, and the hope is the output of whatever catastrophic collision ends up happening is not enough to impact the rest of us. But
Can't influence it if they have an ascendancy, right? Whereas we could if we go to the realm of death or whatever.
that's what I was going to say. If they have
Okay,
an
okay.
ascendancy, we can't get involved. If we get involved now, there is maybe something we can do.
think we need to get involved. I think we
Make sure
can't
we
leave
get the
this up
right
to
Merkel.
the towing
Well,
costs.
either make sure we get the right Merkel, or at least the right person absorbs the power.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that I don't want to get anywhere near two death gods duking it out in a battle for the ultimate power over murdering people.
In the
No,
realm
well,
of
That
death.
In the realm of death, that sounds like it would be really bad for my health.
okay, it's going to be bad for all our healths, but we
Like
We have to-
really bad.
really seriously bad. But something we have to think about.
This is what the
And we have-
JC is all about. You know, we put our lives on the line for
Something
justice.
we have to consider is
I don't know
while
about
there
that.
is an imbalance, maybe, and this is what I was sort of saying before, if maybe we pick a champion, yes, they're not through the proper ascendant seas, but what you're worrying about, Nadia, is that technically both Merkels are not on our side. What if we pick someone who is?
Mm.
The whole point of Merkel is that they kill people who are at the end of their life. The point is they are meant to be souls that move on to Kelemvor to be judged and delivered out accordingly. That does not have to be evil. That can be neutral. That can be someone who is not our enemy or our friend, rather than
If we appointed a neutral god in the place of an evil god, it'd still fuck the balance up.
yes. But for right now, the balance is fucked in the benefit of evil.
I don't even know what balance means, to be honest. I mean, in Star Wars, they killed all the Sith, and they said that was balance. So who's to say?
Can you
Really?
stop
For
talking
the
about Star
Sith.
Wars in an IC conversation? Ass.
There might be
So-
Star Wars in D&D. We don't know. You've got to
Oh
check out
my
the-
God.
Trust,
Yeah.
what's
Realm
the Sith you
Wars.
speak of? Is this a fairy tale from your
Oh my
childhood?
God.
I don't understand.
When we were in the mines, we had nothing else to do, so we'd gather around and tell each other stories. It kind of kept us like sane. And one of the other orcs, he used to tell this story, and I quite liked it.
What's that?
Killed Sonny Hass. Look
God.
at him. He's dead.
Oh my God.
That
This
sounds
ca-
very interesting.
Orcs
You
just
should,
round a campfire, just casually making up the plot of Star
you,
Wars.
sh- you should tell us this tale. Ask what tale was this? What was it called?
It was called Orc Wars, actually. Yeah.
Orc
Okay,
Wars.
that's good.
Oh my God.
Nice.
It's very good. Good.
The space opera Orc Wars.
Mm.
Oh,
Killed Hass.
I was
oh,
going to say as
oh,
well,
it's
by the way,
terrible.
that Mystra in the
Oh,
past said to
God.
me, bring all the medallions to her city, and she'd take care of the rest, which kind of seems to imply either she had a plan for them not causing collateral, or she thought they wouldn't,
Or
because
she just
Or
destroy
she
them.
just wanted to just sling them in the ocean,
or maybe she just wanted to destroy them. Yeah.
which is what her priestess said that they would have done
Hmm.
if nobody else had noticed and
I
they'd
mean-
noticed first. They would have just quietly gotten rid of them
Mm.
again.
I mean, there's no guarantee that even the Mystra priests will do what they say they're going to do.
No.
There's no reason to trust them any differently to Merkel.
Mm. I think something we need to consider while we now only have one medallion, we still have one,
Mhm.
is that perhaps maybe the third option here is that we go with neither party and we sort it out ourselves. But while that is something that we might consider, it is something that will require the druid from the north and a fuckload of planning.
Which doesn't really,
And I
that's
do
not
I
really
can't
our strong
imagine
suit.
that I can't imagine they'll be ill guarded no matter where they are. I have
Mm,
to say, I am a little bit worried about the idea of one or the other of the parties trying to force the issue by stealing them, either from us or from each other.
yeah,
mean,
that's
that's the
why I
other
think
point.
a day was a
Yeah.
reasonable decision. I was
Mm.
worried about time.
The problem, yeah, literally all one of them has to do is steal one from the other.
That would give them a majority, and indeed the other would be honour bound to fulfil the bargain of supporting whatever they wanted to do, but it wouldn't give them all the amulets as long as we still got ours.
Indeed. And I think the other thing to remember is the Merkel priests are more likely to steal them, but are currently in a city that is not their home, not where they are safest, and not in the best position to do so. And the Mystra priests, well, perhaps they could decide to do that, but they also know that we have the other medallion, and I do not sense them to do any underhand play, but I could be wrong. I think we should cook some food, eat, and discuss over dinner.
I'm going to ask Sylvanas about it tonight.
I'm probably going to discuss with Bahamut as well.
We just need to get up early. Ask all of our gods what the fuck they want. Get up early and
Yeah, let them decide. Sounds good to me.
I mean, I
You'd
suppose
think
if
they would know what they were doing, wouldn't you? But I'm not convinced, you know.
Kellenvor likely is someone who
That's me.
Kellenvor is someone who works very closely with Merkel. If the Merkel Secondus was to, I mean, he may even know of Prime as well. Maybe he'll be more likely to know how they would react to be given the power.
Definitely a good idea.
Because, I mean, the way I see it, the two risks of doing it now is Prime goes crazy and kills everybody, of which you'd like to think there are safety things in place, so the other gods would go, hang on a minute, you can't do that. Like Bahamut, for example. Or Secondus gets all the power, and that tips the scales heavily in Bane's favor. Because the Secondus is aligned with Bane.
This is why
Or
I think a third party wouldn't be a bad idea.
or we wait a year, allow more people to get chewed up by undead, and we have the potential chance of a third party winning. While there are still the other risks. While the other two still have a potential chance, by the way, of regaining ascendancy.
There is plenty to ponder, to think up and discuss within ourselves to what our characters and what even ourselves would want out of this. And next time on the Ascendant Lands, what will you all think? How will you approach this? What can Euphemia and Elenil do to even shift your opinions once you've decided it, if at all? Who knows? Next time on the Ascendant Lands, let's find out.